is ready. The teacher we are free. When you are too uncomfortable, you will face your fears. Then you may pause and wonder, what took you so much time? But questioning is pointless when everybody knows your crime. The sun is feeding me powerful rays, and today I will change my ways. Delaying and waiting just does nothing. And I am deciding to seize the day. And I am deciding to seize the day. I'm so grateful that I have the chance to look over my lessons and change my circumstance. The greatest gift you receive is the chance to improve yourself. Graduation from your past is the greatest source of wealth.
Oh man, monkeys. Oh boy, just some really amazing stuff's been happening here in my own life as far as people that I never expected to consider consciousness or life or any of that sort of thing are actually starting to ask questions. And it's more and more people every day that just they're coming out of the woodwork, and that just continues to bolster my optimism for our future. I really think that with us getting closer and closer to I don't subscribe a whole lot to that 2012 thing, but it's kind of like a mark on the clock, just the turning point. And as we're getting closer and closer to that time, and more people are waking up and asking questions, the more my optimism grows. And even despite all the crap that we see, out the window and what's going on in the world and in the turmoil everybody's trying to kick up and everything, the human side of it, the consciousness side of it, is really encouraging.
Starting to wake up.
Yeah, I like it. And just in myself, my own personal growth, the depth of my understanding, the depth of my own personal connections with life and my understanding of how all this is working is growing by leaps and bounds, and that in itself excites the hell out of me. But so what's been up with you, Ramon?
Taking it easy, chasing around New York food. The last couple of days, me and my wife just been looking for New York pizza, and then we found chicken parmesan, and we went to Red Lobster's.
Oh, they got Red Lobster in Japan, huh?
Yeah, it's not as good though, but the pizza was good. But as far as the 100th monkey syndrome, I feel like we might have hit the mark on the 3D, which is not what we're really waiting for. But 5-6 years ago, if you told people there was like a dark cabal, running the world, they would tell you you're crazy. But now I think the majority of people know that does exist, and there is a 1% running the world.
Yeah,
it's obvious to to Joe the plumber.
Yeah. Then right here on Interstate 5, I live here in Western Washington in the United States, and right on one of the big main interstates that go north and south here, the full length of the country. There's this guy that's got this big, huge billboard, and he puts up his messages. He changes them every couple of weeks or so. But this guy is obviously aware of, the way the strings are pulled here. And he put some pretty interesting comments up there. He's got some political stuff up there now on one side of the sign. It's two-sided, so you see it going both north and south, and he's got different messages both directions. And the guy, I just get a kick out of this guy. Let's see, on one side it says, vote for the American. As in implying that Obama is not an American, right? God, what's it say on the other side? Oh, something else to do with Obama. And anyways, the guy's sign just cracks me up. And seeing people being real public about their opinions like that is something we didn't used to see here. And more people, like you said, are aware that there's something going on, and that the guys that are in the office aren't necessarily elected; they're selected. So.
What are you talking about, Thomas?
Yeah.
Well, before our guest falls asleep, let's cover some of the basic stuff. If you're going to the Pythagoras Conference in Horseshoe, Southern Indiana, October 10th to the 14th, you can pick up your tickets from us and help support us at the same time. And that would be really cool. We still have the little monkeys running around, pulling on Tom's hair. So you can pick one up, the 8 gig USB, which covers all of 2011, a couple shows in 2010 when we started November 17th, and all the video interview Tom has done. Let's see, you can find us on Facebook, Vimeo, Tom's YouTube, Twitter, and
I started posting on Daily Motion too.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Got one show on there already. I'm going to work at getting it on a few more of those video sites too. But anyways, if anybody knows of some more good video sites like that, send me a link and let me know, and I'll start posting on them too. So. Oh, let's see. I had something else on my head I was going to say, but I forgot. I hate it when I do that. I call it a brain fart. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, go ahead.
Last week was our 100th show. And where Ramon and I were sitting here thinking that this was going to be the 100th show, but this is show number 101. And
really?
101. So we have a returning guest tonight, and I'm sure that all of our listeners are quite familiar with Santos Bonacci. He's been really breaking some new ground, or actually bringing up some old ground, I think, more in the lines of some of the ancient and mythological and astronomical and astrological, and I mean, he's just been really digging into astrotheology and putting some really good pieces together and making sense of what's going on in the world today.
And I mean, really dissecting things. I suggest you guys go watch his videos. We have one posted up on the main page and the website.
Yeah, he's just really breaking some new ground here. The stuff that I haven't heard before. So it is our honor and pleasure to welcome you back to the 100th Monkey, Santos.
Thank you, guys. Great to be back.
So. We gotta send Santos some energy.
Yeah, energy and love. Thank you.
Santos, when I was watching the video, the way you break down the astrological chart, I've never heard anyone else even come close to the way you talk about it. What was some of the? Let me ask it this way: how was it that you were able to start going down that path to look at the astrological charts in the manner you do?
Well, astrology itself has all the answers. In astrology, all the planets have 4 different types of houses. They have a house of dignity, where they rule. For instance, the sun rules Leo, the moon rules Cancer, and these cannot be changed. Then opposite the dignity is the detriment, always opposite. So if you have a circle of the zodiac, the detriment house is opposite. So the detriment of the sun will be Aquarius, because Aquarius is opposite Leo. So already you have this in mind. Then you have the exaltation and the fall. The exaltation of the sun is in Aries, and the fall of the sun is opposite that in Libra. So once you understand this, you realize that out of all those 12 spaces in the sky along the ecliptic, and the ecliptic is the path where the planets go, right? They're always there. They never wander off and head off towards the northern stars, where Polaris is. You won't see them wandering off toward the south, where the Southern Cross is. They are always in Aphrodite's belt. But the sun has its dignity in Leo, obviously, because Leo is fixed fire. Of course the sun lives there. You see, the resonance, the vibration and the frequency and the energy that is in Leo is the same as the sun's. All the other signs, it's different. It's different. When the sun is found slightly shifted to the left, or prior to Leo, it's found in Cancer. There, the sun is not so happy. It's a water sign. Cancer is water, so its vibration and its energy is very oppressive to the sun. And so that's easily understandable. Aquarius is midwinter. It's an air sign. Air is usually good for the sun, but in this case, because it's positioned opposite Leo and it's midwinter, it is detrimental to the sun. So there's your dignity and your detriment. Now, the exaltation and the fall, well, of course the sun exalts in Aries. That's the springtime, when it blossoms. Before that, it's dead. The earth is lying in slumber. There's no bud, there's no blossom, there's no fruit. You've got to wait for the sun to reach the 21st of March, to enter the sign of Aries, and there it exalts. Because now the days are longer and the nights are shorter, whereas before, on the 20th of March, the night was slightly longer and the day was slightly shorter. On the 21st of March, equilibrium, 12 hours of both, night and day. So this is how you understand. You must focus on the cardinal points, and you must focus on these 4 different houses that the planets go through. And all the planets do this. So if you've got a chart, and Leo is where your sun is, you were born in August, for instance. Today is still Leo, the 21st of August. Anyone born today is born under the sign of Leo. Very good. That's a very good thing, because that's where the sun is happiest. Also, it is happy in Aries. I'm Arian, and the sun was in the 1st degrees of Aries, the 2nd degree of Aries when I was born. So it just crossed the 21st of March. I was born on the 24th. So the sun just exalted in my case. So these 2 signs are very, very favourable to the sun. So if you follow the sun every year, all you've got to do is pay attention to the seasons. Right now, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's stinking hot, and the sun is in Leo, so he's happy. He's in his house of dignity. In 6 months' time, it'll be freezing and the sun is suffering in its detriment. And then you wait for the spring and then the sun exalts. But opposite that, in Libra, which is coming in about 2 months, when the sun hits the 21st of September, as the sun goes through the autumnal equinox, it proceeds to fall. And that's the fall of the sun. Very dangerous sort of a house for the sun. Libra are the scales, it judges the sun. So, and you can do the same thing with the moon. The moon lives in Cancer, next door to Leo, exalts in Taurus, next door to Aries. The detriment of the moon is Capricorn, of course, opposite Cancer, and the fall of the moon is opposite Taurus, which is Scorpio. Now, I can go through the other planets. For instance, Jupiter exalts in Cancer, falls in Capricorn. Mars does the opposite. It exalts in Capricorn and falls in Cancer. Same with Mercury, Jupiter. I've mentioned Jupiter. Venus exalts in Pisces, lives in Taurus and Virgo. So why I'm saying this, we can just concentrate on the sun if you like, but what I'm saying this for is that the sun is waxing and waning. It gets brighter and then it gets dimmer, and it gets brighter and it gets dimmer. And it has these 4 measurable points where you can call those points detriment, dignity, exaltation, and fall.
Right.
And as you see these cycles waxing and waning, and you know that the planets are doing the same thing, when you see them all together in one's chart, you can see whether the planets are happy, whether they're exalting, whether they are in the house of their dignities, whether there are any bad aspects like squares and oppositions, etc., or good aspects. I can explain those later, what they are. But as you look at someone's chart, you can see if some of those planets are suffering. For instance, if Mars is in Cancer, well, that's his fall. See, Mars is hot and dry. Cancer is cold and wet. Hot and dry, cold and wet. What are they? Well, they are also, that's the next thing you need to understand about astrology. The first thing I would say is to understand dignity, detriment, exaltation, fall. Then I would go to the humours. Now, if you know about Indian Ayurvedic medicine, you will know that they have Pitta, Vata. They have 3 humours, you see. And they've got sub-humours. But in astrology, there are 4 humours. 2 are active, 2 are passive. So, hot and cold, they are active humours. Each planet has one of those. Dry and moist, they are passive humours. Each planet has one of those. So the sun, obviously, is hot and dry. It can't be cold and moist. That's the moon next door. So the vibration of the sun as it goes around is what the sun does is it's a positive, vital, life-giving energy, hot and dry. Obviously, I mean, when the sun turns up in spring, all the blossoms, all the fruits grow. So you can see what the sun's doing. It's pretty obvious. It's not hard to, you'd be pretty dumb if you denied that the sun was influencing us at all. You'd be pretty dumb. That's why when people outrightly condemn astrology because it's from the devil, I mean, what a time to run away, because they're as dumb as, well, I won't say, but they are very dumb.
So Santos,
what were you going to say?
Santos, I kind of have a question that I've thought about a few times, and I fully understand your explanation there, and I agree with it, being born in the northern hemisphere, but southern hemisphere, I'm wondering why all astrology was focused on, and I'm assuming that this is because it was mainly developed in the northern hemisphere primarily, but this it seems to be backwards for the southern hemisphere. So would this just popped into my head? Would people born in, say, the Scorpio versus the Taurus thing? So people born in the northern hemisphere under Scorpio, would a person in the southern hemisphere born in Scorpio bear the Taurus type,
personality?
Yeah. Would
Yeah.
No. The science of astrology is polarized in a certain way. It's northern hemisphere oriented, you see. The whole astrology works because the Earth is in a relationship with the Sun. And that's it. It's not concerned necessarily, primarily, with the stars and the slippage of precession, and it's not concerned with hemispheres. Well, it is. It's northern hemisphere oriented. Why is that? Well, because as you start in Aries is in your head. Taurus is in your head. The third sign, Gemini, is your two arms, the twins. Cancer is your chest, Leo is the heart, Virgo is the belly, Libra is the kidneys, Scorpio is the generative area, Sagittarius, the upper thighs, or hips. Hips is short for hippo. Hippo is a horse. Your knees belong to Capricorn, the shins belong to Aquarius, and the 2 feet are Pisces. So, when you wrap Adam Kadmon, or Jacob, who had his name changed to Israel in the Bible, Jacob means heel catcher. Because the 2 feet, when you wrap a human being around a circle, starting with the head in Aries, and the 2 feet wrap around to touch the back of the head, that is Jacob, the heel catcher. You see, Jacob has 12 sons. Well, if we haven't got a coincidence here. Actually, everything in the Bible is coincidental to this. All the greatest Jewish scholars in history have conceded and have admitted that astrology is what the Bible is based on. It's based on astrology and nothing else. Nothing else. It's all about astrology. That's why every second word is about the number 12. And there were 12 judges, and there were 12 prophetesses, and there were 12 pillars in the temple of God, and 12 trees along the river healing the nations. Excuse me. I'll get a drink.
Take your time. Tom can always fix that in post.
That's better.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what you see there is that Jacob the heel catcher, or Adam Kadmon, cannot be placed differently. And why is that? Well, because when you study the constellations that correspond to those 12 segments of the body, you will notice that the organs therein resemble the constellations. I'll give you 2 examples. No, 3. Taurus. Taurus has the famous Pleiades. Taurus is in the head, and so is the pineal gland. Next to Taurus is Orion fighting the bull. That corresponds with the optic thalamus. And this has been known to the ancients for many, many years. The river that runs from the foot of Orion, the star called Rigel, the bright bluish star, very loved. That's called Eridanus. In other words, Jordanus, the Jordan in the sky. When you go over to to Leo, have a look at Leo next time you see him right up there in the sky, and you will see that he resembles a heart, because Leo is the heart. When you spot Scorpio, you will notice that Scorpio is rising like the phoenix out of the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Right below the stinger, the tail of Scorpio, is the center of the Milky Way galaxy. That corresponds with your generative area. The scorpion is the phallic. It's the male phallic. So when you understand this as above, so below, you cannot confuse the two hemispheres. For Taurus will always belong to the head. The head will always be in the northern hemisphere, in that portion of the circle. So it's the law of correspondences, the law of Hermes, you see, as above, so below. When you understand that, then you don't just draw a circle of the zodiac and put things wherever you want them to be. You know, you can never, for instance, decide that you're going to make the dignity of the sun, Scorpio. Because the sun is not dignified in Scorpio. The sun suffers in Scorpio. Water signs do not treat it very well. And in fact, that's the reason why, if the sun is afflicted in Scorpio, there are some squares or oppositions to the sun, Scorpio people will have their diseases. Wherever the sun finds itself, in whatever degree it finds itself, there are 360 degrees, 365 days, roughly corresponding to each other. As the sun progresses, degree by degree, it changes the nature of its vibration and its angle. Angle means angel. Anagram for angel. So, in our birth charts, we have good angels and bad angels. You see, churchgoers, they know a lot about astrology without knowing anything about it at all. For instance, when you go to church, I used to go to church when I was a Jehovah's Witness. You go over and talk to Brother Tom, you know. Hey, Brother Tom, how has your week been? Oh, Brother Santos, I've been persecuted by the devil in the last couple of days. Temptations. I've had so much, my car broke down, and then Satan attacked my wife, and she growled at me, and then Satan's causing my children to misbehave. Oh, he's such, you know, what they're actually telling you is that some of the bad aspects in their chart are turning up at that time. It might be May the 2nd. You know, you might have a bad aspect in your chart at May the 2nd. So you might want to pencil that in your calendar and wait for that period. And a week before, you might want to do a, check the chart and see what sort of planets are going to be around, touching on that point. Because if there's a planet like Saturn, badly aspected, and he's transiting that point where you already have a bad point because of your birth chart, well, you are going to have some really bad vibrations, and they will manifest as accidents, unhappiness, depression, things going wrong, bumping your head here and there, and all sorts of things. And here you are blaming, well, they're partially right, actually. They're blaming Satan, and most of the problems that happen in the chart are attributed to Saturn. So Saturn is Satan. So therefore they're right, but they're totally, totally wrong.
Right. I've used astrology myself quite a bit, and it just never ceases to amaze me how accurate it is, especially for personality types. So when a birth chart's done and looking at a person's personality and comparing it to a birth chart, if it's done well, it like just draws that person completely out. And but that's all imprinted at birth. So I know you've been digging into this pretty deeply. What actually is imprinted at birth? Is it the magnetic vibration, or what is the actual element that imprints into our physiology or our psychology or our consciousness at that point?
Well, at the moment you are born, all their planets are situated at various angles in respect to you, and in respect to the crystals that are in your body. Your pineal gland is a crystal. Your brain is crystals. It's an electrochemical computer. Your blood is crystals. We are carbon crystals. Crystal means Christ. Therefore, we are, same spelling, by the way. They've replaced the I with a Y, but it's still a Christ, crystal. So you are a carbon crystal. You're a carbon christened entity. You have been baptized in death. There are four baptisms, okay? There's the baptism of death, or earth, which is your body. When you find yourself in your mother's womb, you've been baptized. And that is death. Because life in bodies is like death. Because only in spirit can you enjoy unconditioned consciousness. So, next thing you do is you get baptized in water, and that would be your mother's waters. And then when you come out of the body, you breathe air. Air is spirit. That's the baptism of spirit. And the final baptism is the baptism of fire. And you'll notice that these baptisms are all related to the four platonic elements: earth, water, air, and fire. So, when you get baptized with fire, you get baptized as a mystic, and you have really entered the higher mind, and you have been saved. But in the meantime, the planets have affected all of that process, because the moment you drew breath, that was the moment that your crystals were influenced and came under the influence of the outside planets for the first time. You see, you were protected in your mother's womb. In a sense, you were protected, you see. But then when you're exposed and you begin to breathe and you have your own life, at that moment you receive all of the seven. You receive all of the energies from the seven Archons, the seven Cosmocrators, the Elohim, the Wanderers, the seven stars. Everything's seven.
You know, I've never heard anybody refer to the planets as the Archons. So are you implying that the consciousness or the embodiment of those planets, the spirit of those planets, are what have been termed in our past as the Archon?
Yeah, well, they're archangels, you see. Archon, archangels, they are greater souls than ours. But that doesn't mean that ours will not ascend higher than theirs. They will. Our souls, our spirits and souls were created above their dominion. Our souls come from the Milky Way. And they do not necessarily, stay in solar systems for that long if they don't need to. And so our solar system has captured our souls. Or we were attracted to this solar system and we came here by choice. Either way, we came down here in one of two ways. Hermes in the Hermetica says there are two ways of incarnation. There's by choice and there is by punishment. Many souls have hated coming down to this place. Many. This is why you often talk to people who are just desperate to go home. There's nothing here for them. And the philosopher, the lover of wisdom, reaches that level where he wants to ascend beyond these planets, beyond the Archons. The Archons are great, loving entities that will help us to ascend, but they're also tyrants. They're a bunch of thugs, you know. The sun is beautiful. I mean, I'm alive because of the sun, but one day, if I'm in the desert, there's no water, the sun will kill me in an instant. And so, respect personalities at all, you know. It doesn't necessarily, it's there, they are there for us. We can use those planets to ascend. They are there and our helpers. And they will always be there for us. And they are archangels in that they are groups of higher ascended souls that have, you know, joined together in one work. The sun is a conscious being made up of many, many souls, you see. It's not just this hydrogen thing. Oh, this is ridiculous how, you know, institutions of the world, mainly done by the Jesuits and the Vatican, how they teach that everything's inanimate. The sun's just this fire thing, and it's just there, and the moon's just this bowl, and it's just there. And these are our brothers and sisters. Sometimes they're good, and sometimes they can be bad. Look at yourself. Look at me. I know that one day I'm a saint, the next day I'm a devil. You know, someone crosses my path on the freeway and I'm just cursing him like you wouldn't believe. Right? I want to see a good friend and I show him all the love in the world. Oh, how are you, friend? Love you, love you, love you. 10 minutes ago I just cursed this guy I don't even know. So, they have, as we have, a lot to learn. We are all progressing. This is the advancement we make. But the sin, the only sin that exists, is the sin of resisting this advancement. Human that do not enter the higher mind will be punished by themselves. There's no God that's going to do it. They are doing it to themselves. For example, there's two brains in the head. There's three really, but let's focus on the two: the cerebellum and the cerebrum. The cerebrum, higher brain, the superconsciousness, Aries. The cerebellum is the cerebellum, which corresponds to the bull, Taurus, and it's bullish. It's the lower brain, the subconscious. And bellum means war in Latin, because that brain is at war with the higher brain. Now, 90% of our brothers on this planet are stuck in the cerebellum. And they do make a golden image of the calf. They make a golden image of that brain. Of it, the left brain. Logic and reason. Oh, I believe, my opinion is, well, I was taught, this is what I think. I'm educated on PhD and pharmaceuticals are good treatments for you. That's what doctors will tell you. You go to a doctor for a cure, he gives you a treatment, right? Because he's educated. To spew out lies for Big Pharma. So these are people that are doing harm to themselves and harm to the world and the universe in general by living in their lower brain. That lower brain is very stubborn, and it really believes that it knows everything. Until people discover the higher mind, there will never be peace on this earth. There will never be health on this earth, because these are educated people that watch the TV, and the TV says, oh, we've just done a test on McDonald's, Burger King, and Kentucky Fried Chicken, and we've found the canola oils that they use is 98% polyunsaturated, and it's good for your health. And so these already have got arthritis, piles, dementia, obesity, diabetes. They hear that and they go, oh, I better go off to and get me one of those triple cheeseburgers. You see, the education system is not the enlightenment system. There's enlightenment and there's education. When I was 14, 15, I realized that I didn't want any education. I was out of school. My son Turns 15, he says, Dad, I'm out of school. I said, go for it. At first, I resisted. But then I let him do and my son he's no dumbass, he's a Libra and he's got a great mind, he's quite genial in many ways, he's a musician, and he can work out anything in the metaphysical subjects, anything. And he's 19. So, whereas kids that stay with their education and end up with a whole bunch of erroneous opinions are actually causing harm to themselves. And, you go to a nap and you'd expect that you'd have better...
Hey, Santos, I hate to interrupt you here, but you're breaking up some, so...
Yeah.
Hello?
Okay.
Yeah. How's that?
Oh, much.
Sounds better. Yeah, because when you were talking, your voice would go low, then come back high again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope that's good. I hope that's sorted that out. Thank you.
Okay. Back. And we were talking about your son, and I'll let you proceed.
Yeah.
Tom, turn off your video.
So my son left school just like me at 15, and he's enlightened. He's not educated, but he's enlightened. He's not ever had any immunizations. I've refused, of course, because I'm enlightened. An educated person will say, oh, vaccines are good for you because the doctors and the FDA tell you that you must, and it's good, and it's got mercury and thimerosal in it, and it's being produced in a laboratory. Somehow laboratory has this, educated people think that laboratories are these places where, human beings that are greater than God are doing great work. I don't know. All those animals that they persecute and inject with pus and shit and venom, and just to find out how long it'll take for a mouse to die of cancer. Monkeys, with injections and little things sticking out of them and everything. Those animals are, overnight, they're sleeping in these cold laboratories, and then when the lights turn on in the morning and these evil scientists, these educated buffoons that come in and inject them with this new something that they're inventing, to kill these animals deliberately so that they can test on animals. This is absolutely barbaric. This is crime that will never be forgiven in the universe. And it's immunizations were developed in the laboratory. Anything that's developed in the laboratory is sus. Absolutely sus. In particular when it has to do with torturing animals. But this is the world we live in, you see, because all of these, our brothers, have decided that they're quite comfortable to live in the cerebellum, the lower brain. Yeah. They're quite comfortable to be what Hermes calls human beasts. And they haven't made the shift to be human beings yet.
So, okay, I want to jump back just a second here to the Archon thing. I find it, your views on it, quite intriguing. You're familiar with the Gnostic writings and the Archon within them, aren't you?
The Pistis Sophia, yes.
Right. So the impression that most people get from reading that is that the group of Archons that are out there, the spirit known as the Archon or the beings known as the Archon, are basically out there, trying to misguide us and cause us trouble and suck our brains out or just all sorts of nasty little things. From what I'm gathering from you is that the Archon that you're referring to is can go both directions. Basically, can be both the devil and the angel, and is more of a teacher element than anything else.
Yeah. There's no only good and only evil. Evil is undeveloped good, and of course, the Archons are not perfect. The sun is not perfect. It needs to be infused with materials that it gathers from space. It's an electric. It's the whole universe is electric. We are electric. There's nothing that is not electricity. And the sun continues to burn, so to speak, because of the electricity that is infused from the plasma, from the Birkeland currents, and from the central suns of the universe. It's getting its energy from without. It will never burn out. It will always be able to live. But all of these material things that we see, they are all in transit. They're all, nothing is firmly established. Everything is motion. So sure, the Archons are going to be devious, and they're going to be great, Unfortunately, for some people, they persistently end up bumping into the baddies. I don't understand that. I never have. I've never, ever been troubled by these things that people call, I don't know what they call them, bad entities, psychic, control, demons and spirits and elementals and shit like that. I mean, if one keeps... The body is toxic because the mind is toxic. If the mind is clean, and if the mind is in the higher mind, and you know how to think, not what to think, then all of these disturbances won't befall you. They are there to befall the ones that are stubborn, that are resisting the way of the Lord, as the Bible says. Why are you continuing to resist me, says the Lord. By the way, the Lord is the cerebrum. It's not some Humpty Dumpty God, Uncle God in the sky that Christians pray to. That's a fiction. But the Bible is poetic, and the Bible speaks like this. It says, my children will perish for lack of knowledge. And look around, and you see it. I don't see auras, but I can see the vibrational state of each individual. I can see where the planets are in their body. I can see whether the planets are healthy or not, and I can see whether human beings are healthy or not. And I see 99.9% of human beings as very, very, very sick and toxic. They are absolutely polluted, disgustingly polluted, right down to the core. Everything about them, everything. It's poison everywhere. The air is poisoned. Everything's poisoned, and people are poisoned. They're not fresh. There's no freshness anymore. There's no juice in the bodies. They're dry and wrinkly. They have their head bowed down, and even when they're happy because they're walking around with their friends or drinking some cafe latte in some coffee shop, you can see the pain. I can see pain written all over them. They can smile and be cute and nice and friendly and everything like that, but some of these friendly people, you see them one day, the next day you hear about them in the newspaper. They've jumped off a bridge because they committed suicide, They might look happy, but I can tell you for sure that 99.9% of humanity are unhappy, absolutely unhappy. And then you come out with this wisdom and knowledge to help them. Oh, that's from the devil. While they're eating, while they're gobbling down a triple cheeseburger from McDonald's, which is full of toxins. So, what do? Well, you just move on and live your own life and continue to progress. My days, every day that I live on this planet, I progress. I reach out, I reach up, I shift, I change, I improve, I advance, I develop, I evolve. I refuse to do anything other than that.
You hit on a really good point here a minute ago about how those things just don't cross your path, and I've talked with several people here recently about this same exact thing, and how when you've learned something, and this is talking about working on the higher mind, when you've learned a lesson, when you've overcome a challenge, then that challenge no longer presents itself to you. It clears the path is cleared before you. In that subject, whatever that lesson was that you learned, if you know it and you learn it, you're not going to ever have to go through that again. And that's I mean, you brought it out, through different words, but it's the exact same thing. I know there's something about the path will be made clear for you, or something like that. I can't remember how that exactly goes, but I just that's one of the knowings that I have, is that as you are growing and as you are learning and as you are going through your experiences and your trials and your tribulations, and if you are going about it with the intent of learning and understanding from the higher mind, those challenges are swept out of your way once you grasp what they're all about.
Yeah. yeah. People in the lower mind, in the cerebellum, are constantly getting into trouble, in and out of trouble. There's always trouble in their lives. There's gossiping. There's, stocks that are falling in their portfolio, and they're troubled because they've lost $600,000 overnight because the stock market crashed. Their boss has just demoted them because they were eagerly climbing some invisible corporate ladder. They've just crashed their SUV, which is their god, because SUVs now are, if you've got an SUV, you can, when you're drinking your cafe latte with your friends, you can confidently say that nice and loud, and all the people around will respect you because, oh, that man just said SUV. Whoa, whoa, he's got money, and these are the cerebellum types. This is the herd that Plato, Pythagoras, Parmenides, Manilius, all of the great philosophers spoke about, the common herd. They're like animals. Moo, moo, and ba, 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 and they're repeaters of erroneous opinions. They might be intelligent, some of them display a lot of great intelligence. They turn up, I don't know, they turn up, they might be working for IBM or Apple or something like that, and they might be, in Silicon Valley doing great things and everything like that, but they still go out at night and do the things of the herd, which is the animal lusts. They'll pick up a chick at the bar, they're drunk, they've had 6 triple cheeseburgers. So there's 3 things that are wrong: overeating, overdrinking, oversex, acid in the body, oil can't ascend. Therefore, they will remain poisoned. If your body's poisoned, so is your mind. You can't separate the two. Toxic one, toxic the other. And they're all toxic. Oh, yeah, they're intelligent. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton. They're pretty intelligent when they want to say something on that microphone. But in the end, they're just the same as the common herd. They're poisoned, they're toxic, they're dumb, they're in the cerebellum, and they won't be saved. There's no chance. No chance. And I'm not being judgmental. I love them. I'm not being harsh. I love all individuals that live on this planet. But they're still dumb. Animals, they're dumb. I love cows, but cows are dumb. But I love them because they're cute. Right? So I love them. But he's as dumb as dog shit. So, but I love him. How do I know he's dumb? Because he's living in the lower mind. If he was truly enlightened, he'd not be the president or chief CEO of a corporation that is at the top of the military-industrial complex, which is killing people needlessly, and which is run by the Vatican scoundrels. He would be out of there. And he wouldn't be doing it for his career and his name and for money, because that's what they do it for. It's quite easy to recruit people to go and kill in your armies. The rich people that hang back in their mansions and send these young boys in the cerebellum to go out and kill other people to fight their wars. Remember Arlo Guthrie, or was it Woody Guthrie, that said, "I wish every soldier out there in the world would just take his helmet off, put his gun down and say, no, I will not kill. And then he said, it seems to me that the rich are interested in killing. Give them the guns. Bob Dylan said the thing. Masters of war. You hide behind your wall. Send young men to go out and fill the streets with blood for your murderous appetites. So that's what we should do. Reach out to our brothers in the cerebellum and tell them to put their guns down. Hand them over to the rich. Let them kill themselves. Because the day that the filthy rich are off this planet is the day that we will find peace. 3 things must be eliminated from this planet immediately if we want to have peace. The Vatican, all banks, and all filthy, rich, animalistic people. And there'll be peace.
You're not asking for much, are you? Okay. Well, we're at the top of the hour. Santos, you want to share your website and what are you working on right now? Are you going to do a book?
I will have to, eventually. But what I'm working on at the moment is I'm going to be doing a presentation on the 8th of September where I will syncretize many, many things. Numerology, astrology, theology, all, obviously you guys have seen my presentations. What I'm going to try and achieve is I'm just going to try and reduce all of that information quickly, succinctly, into one presentation. One presentation to represent all the other, one presentation to represent all the other presentations that I've done. So you can use it as a sort of you can flick it over to people and post it and say, look, have a look at this, and then if you want to know more and go more in detail, check out the other presentations.
Right. Well, cool. So, and your website?
universaltruthschool.com.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to the first hour. And if you want to check out some more and all the other second hour content stuff that Ramon and I are bringing you from the 100th Monkey Radio, click that become a member button. And
in case you're listening to on YouTube, you can go right over to www.100thmonkeyradio.com.
Yep. Condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance.
The love you deny is the pain you carry.
And we'll see you in the second segment.
When the students are ready, the teacher will agree. When you are too uncomfortable, you will face your fears. Then you may pause and wonder, what took you so much time? But questioning is pointless when everybody knows your crime. The sun is feeding me powerful rays, and today I will change my ways. Today anyway, just as nothing. I am deciding to seize the day. I am deciding to seize the day. I'm so grateful that I have the chance to look off my lessons and change my circumstance. The greatest gift you receive is the chance to improve yourself. Graduation from your past is the greatest source of wealth. The sun is feeding me powerful rays, and today I will change my ways. The ain't waiting just as nothing. I am deciding to seize the day. I am deciding to seize the day. Thank you until I find my way home. The sun is feeding me powerful rays, and today I will change my ways. Today any waiting just as nothing. I am decided to seize the day. The sun is feeding me powerful rays, and today I will change my way. Today any waiting just as nothing. I am decided to seize the day. Yes, I am decided to seize the day.